Well, today life just got a whole lot easier for people across Western societies because Trump has won the election in America, and it's brilliant news. And he'll follow through with what he promises. He will protect the borders. He will sort the economy out. He will use the natural resources of America, and he won't cope with any of this woke nonsense. So the world has just changed in an instant, which makes life here in Britain easier. And when I say easier, we have an unsuitable Prime Minister and a very unsuitable government and a very unsuitable Parliament. But the thing is, it's a lot harder for them now because obviously America were pulling the strings along with people that we never see, this faceless cabal of power mad lunatics that want to keep the wealth with the wealthy. So when people say what will happen now because of the way David Lammy's behaved, the things he's said, and the way obviously it is, there are accusations that the Labour canvassers that went across to America to canvass for Kamala Harris, it was in fact a government directive. I've no proof of that. That's just the gossip online. It makes it very awkward for Keir Starmer. But you've got to remember that President Trump, he believes in transaction. He believes in trade deals. He'll overlook that. He'll allow his faux pas just to create trade deals. And at the end of the day, when I keep saying to people, I said in 2019, Labour are tanking support. Boris is way ahead. I said with this election, it's not neck and neck. It's never been neck and neck. Because the big thing is, the power really is still with the people. This is a window of opportunity, mind. This isn't something to be taken for granted. This is a window of opportunity where we have to take back control ourselves. America's already done it. And come the next election, we've plenty of time now. We're forewarned, it's forearmed. And what we have to do is recognise the fact that whilst Reform are not perfect, they've got a figurehead in Nigel Farage who's an equivalent personality to, say, President Trump. He's a doer, he's a good talker. What he says makes common sense to the everyday man, and which is more than any other politician, especially when you consider Kemi Bendock saying that the British justice system is fair, and if you've got any problems, write to your representative, i.e. your MP. When was the last time you got any sense or any reply from your representative? So that's just idiotic. Proof once again you cannot rely on the Tories. Do not try and reignite the Tories. They're dead in the water. What we need is people who believe in President Trump. We need Nigel Farage as a figurehead. Whether you like him or you don't, you think he's a narcissist, whatever your opinion is, we need him. We need him. He's the one that will create the interest. He will reignite the interest, like with Brexit. He'll get the voting populace out again. The critical thing I keep reminding everyone in Great Britain, it wasn't Labour winning. It was Reform coming second in 97 seats. They could be turned into victories next time people vote. And the ones that say they're not going to vote, it's a waste of time, shut up by your face, because it's clearly not a waste of time. It's the most valuable thing you can do. It's all we have. It's the only conduit between us and power. So next time there's an election, I'm hoping to see quality candidates from Reform, and I'm hoping to see more and more people out voting, because we can make a difference. We can stop it. Hungary doesn't put up with it. Poland isn't putting up with it. America certainly isn't putting up with it. Austria just get on with their own thing. They don't even take any notice at the European Union. So we can push globalism back, and we're doing it every day of the week. We just have to watch any stunts that the Democrats pull whilst they're still in power, because he's not in office till January. And they'll have something planned for tomorrow, you mark my words. But the good news is that we can change things for ourselves, because now we don't have someone pushing our own government to do things that are unsuitable. If you don't believe me, you watch once Trump takes office, how quickly the Ukraine war is brought to an end. You watch how soon that stops. And you've just got to hope that these lunatics that are in power don't try and do something before then. And the other thing to watch out for is the legacy media. I'm going to start calling it the legacy media. Somebody suggested it on a thread yesterday. Stop calling it MSN, June. It's no longer the mainstream media. It's actually going into second place. Twitter's the place for instant news. YouTube's the place for discussing it and getting opinions, and really good podcasters that keep you up to date anyway. So why do we need them? Why do we need to still fuel that donkey that really needs shed loads of advertising to survive? So unless they're a commercial channel making other programmes like, say, ITV, the people aren't watching the news channels anymore. Half of it because it's depressing, because it's all liberalist propaganda. And I love the way they call themselves liberalists. They're the least liberal set of people you'll ever come across, because they call people who don't think like them fascists and all sorts of names. So, whatever's going on, massive changes afoot. And if you're one of these that says, I'm not going to vote, don't bother watching me, because I'm going to be encouraging you to vote. We work now. We work now for the future, and your job in this fight is to chatter. Chatter in the supermarket, chatter on your dog walks, chatter at your caravan parks, chatter at your marinas, chatter, chatter, chatter. Chat in the shops, get people's opinion, give them yours, gently, nicely, little bits of information. You can see why people have voted for Donald Trump. A lot of people don't understand Donald Trump. Kamala Harris's campaign was based on the pussy comment, basically, trying to make you hate him because of his views with women. He's the least misogynist you're going to come across. He's lived through the days when misogyny was acceptable, and now he's come through. He compliments his wife, not because she's good looking, which she is. He compliments her because she's really supportive of him and his family and his supporters. He was very humble in his speech last night. This is a guy that did 4 rallies yesterday. 4! Imagine what you feel like when you've been to a football match. Imagine doing 4 rallies and then going on to have an all-night party at Key Largo and then doing a speech at 3 o'clock in the morning. For a 78-year-old, he's got some energy. So, and that energy is transferred into his brilliant government, because Robert Kennedy is so interested in making America healthy again. When his chance of standing as a candidate saw the writing on the wall and stood backing Donald Trump, which means health in America will change. These organisations, these non-government organisations, these quangos, the American equivalent of Congo, the CDC, they'll all have to change now, because Robert Kennedy will be overseeing that. You've got Elon Musk, who couldn't be more liberal in his communications platform and more effective with his Starlink program. So he's also on Trump's side, and one of the brilliant American politicians of all time, I think, who was formerly a Democrat, I think, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard's been making sense year after year since the last election. I started following her in 2015, and she's now a Trump. She'll probably be in his cabinet, the American equivalent of the cabinet. So today's a good news day. It's a good news for everybody following me on here, because we all are like-minded. We are democratic in our thinking, we are democratic in our views, and we are democratic in what we want for our future. And when you see some twit like, is he called James O'Brien from LBC? He said it's a dark day for democracy. I'm not sure how that makes any sense. How can a democratically elected president be a dark day for democracy? It must mean you don't believe in democracy, surely, because democratically he's been elected, which means that's what people wanted. That's democracy. That's it, live and kicking. And yeah, I don't even bother with him, actually, but I just saw it on a thread. And then you've Rory Stewart, that other wet politician that's singing the praises of Kamala Harris. The thing is, what you will have seen and noticed is that that woman hasn't come out with any policy apart from talking about abortion. She's not come up with any policy on anything. She's an airhead. She's an empty head. And Biden, unless you speak diaper, you're not going to get any sense out of him. What a dismal set of candidates to go to an election. And people are saying, oh, that any Republican could have won. No. This election needed Trump. It needed someone who's bothered about people, not politics. And another thing, what these politicians and these media personalities need to do is stop listening to the polls. Just look down some of your own threads, for God's sake. See what people are saying. Because you don't need to look at what the left wing are saying, because they're not ever going to agree with you. You need to look at the stimulus of your own side. And what I saw with my side, my side of the fence being, I believe in sovereignty and I believe in democracy, proper democracy, not fake stuff that you get from the European Union or from Biden or from Trudeau or from Macron, not this fake democracy, this charade just to keep you quiet. I believe in the real stuff. You do. And the thing to do is look down the thread on this post, look down the thread on other posts. You'll see how people are thinking. It's there. It's plain to see. And at no point in this election was it neck and neck ever. Not from the get-go. And yet the media were pumping it out, neck and neck, neck and neck. And now all the left-wing commentators have got egg on their face because they got it wrong again. Like they got it wrong with Brexit, like they got it wrong in 2016. We've had to endure the last 4 years of utter tyranny, and it stops today. It stops today because there's a knock-on effect with what happens in America. Doesn't mean the fight's over. Doesn't mean we don't have to continue with the state of what Kemi Bendok's like. We have to, Badenoch, whatever she's called. We have to continue because her thinking's just way off base. Jenrick would never have been allowed to win, I don't think. And that's my opinion, because he was saying all the things that the people wanted to hear, but not what the whips wanted to hear. So anyway, we move on, we fight on. Obviously I'm stifling a smile. I'm on Dan Wootton tonight about 5:30 talking about the US elections. I'll be talking to Jennifer Ewing later today. Just chit chat as a friend in WhatsApp because she'll be over the moon. And she's just been on Bev Turner on GB News. Bev's punching the air, she's that happy. Anybody who's got kids, you should be happy today. Your kids are guaranteed some sort of place in the future instead of just being drawn to corporatism. So, Keir Starmer, what will happen with Keir Starmer in America? Nigel Farage has offered to broker as a go-between to heal things. They won't take him up on it because that's too much of a public humiliation, isn't it? Oh, we need Nigel Farage, who's only just come to Parliament with 5 MPs, to broker a deal with America. They won't do that out of ego. I'd do it. I'd be saying, Nigel, yeah, it's Kia here, 2-tier Kia, 3-gear Kia. Do us a favour. You'll be doing us a solid if you can get us in with Trump. But no, they won't do that. They won't do that because their egos are too big. They're peacocks. The peacock's not attractive enough to get in the movie business, so they've gone into politics. And they just love a soundbite, and they just love a professionally done video, don't they? And Ed Miliband, the company, NASCO, whatever it's called, that comes out with the statistics about whether or not we need green energy. They're saying he owns 75% of it. Happy to stand corrected if that's wrong, but I haven't had time to research it, but I'm sure you can. Is that not a conflict of interest if you're actually monitoring your own bullshit? You couldn't make it up, could you? And Ed Davey, I've had to point out to Ed Davey this morning that I've got more followers than him, and he's supposed to be running a serious political party. It's a very dark day, apparently. According to Ed, it was a dark day for all those poor buggers with post offices, wasn't it? When you had some say in the matter. Post office scandal, that's all I've got to say to you, Ed Davey. So here, you might as well just enjoy your day today, and we'll be back at it tomorrow. I'm actually made up. Congratulations to Mitch Fairstein, who wrote Planet Ponzi. He's kept me informed all along and got me to stop worrying. Stop worrying, June, he's leading. Which, this is why I didn't post much about it, there's no point. And the other thing, you can now see how important you are in this fight. You are important. To save the things you've built up for yourself, you need to put the effort in. The apathy era is over. It finished for me in 2015. It might just be finishing for some now. It's not a time to be apathetic and hope for the best. The time is to make it the best, and just with a little action, talking to people, voting, you can make these changes that we need. They've jumped too early. The globalists have jumped too early. They thought they had it in the bag, and now the bag's full of holes. It's got damp and it's leaking. We want to keep it that way.